there's almost always this constant dialogue that's just internal within yourself, going back and forth between what you feel like you need to do and what you would really rather do or what you want to do in that moment. And it is an incredible life skill to be able to separate and differentiate between those two focuses and be able to direct that conversation yourself. I don't like doing light stuff for my squats. It's one of those things where when you are doing something like this is an explosion day or a speed day protocol, and it's almost, I'm uncomfortable trying to make the weight go this fast, because I think to go any faster I would really have to just drop and lose control of my positioning, and it feels weird and I don't like it. But I'm giving it a shot because I feel like it's what I need to do to improve. And this is one of the Cube Kingpin protocols, and this is one of the days that I'm not actually using RPE as a way of changing the weights, because this is already so light. I don't even have a way to rate it for myself that would be a fair assessment of whether I should add or subtract weight to how the weight's moving. It's just going as fast as I really can move, and still not just drop in the squat, and have any kind of semblance of controlled movement, if that makes any sense. I hope it does. But I had a similar experience with the bench press, and this is more like it was less about the speed of the bench and more about my natural propensity to want to start to get looser with the form and regress to some bad habits that I'm trying to break. The point of this training cycle and preparing for this meet, yes, to get stronger is always the goal, but I wanted to clean up my lifts. That was what I wrote down at the beginning of, what are the goals of this training block? What are the goals of this meet? I want my lifts to be cleaner. I want my bench to be I want it to be more controlled. I want to have more ownership of the weight. I want it to be a more solid pause. I don't want it to have as much of a heave tight motion. And I felt like on this day I was so hyped up about wanting to hit those reps that I was really running the risk of reverting to some of those bad habits. And I tried to pull it out as much as I could for the lifts that I actually did do. But you saw right there, I thought about it for like, should I go for a couple more and maybe use a little bit more of a heave, or push a little bit more, or risk some other form breakdowns to try to get more reps. And really I kind of decided in the moment, that's not what this session is about, and that's not what this training cycle is about. If I wanted to just throw around weights, I would have picked a different goal. And it's kind of the same thing with the squat. I really want to work on my squat depth and just the consistency of that. And so I'm trying to be more open to myself to allow that motor pattern to almost reset a little bit, because I feel like when you get to a meet setting, you get to a high pressure setting, you will revert to whatever feels the most natural and the most powerful positions that you have. And so if you're someone who has a tendency to get loose when you get, with your technique on your squats and your cutting depth, or on your bench where you start to heave or you start to bounce or you start to lose control of the reps, if you're doing that in training, people say, well, it's just a gym lift, it doesn't matter. But that is the tendency and the reaction that you're building within yourself when you go to the time when it matters. And then you have all this stress and all this pressure, and things may go wrong, and your body will just have to revert to the motor patterns that you've built. And so if you've built up this system of, okay, when things get tough and things break down, my butt comes up, or I move my feet, or my head has to come up, or I have to sink it farther into my chest and really heave it, and you see this big motion. When those kind of things are the basis for whenever it gets tough in the gym, that's going to translate into your meet and into the competition lifts that you're trying to present, and it may end up kind of biting you in the butt. And so you just have to be really conscious of those things, and you have to ride the fine line between pushing yourself to the most you feel like you should be capable of and the most you want to do and whatever you feel like you've picked for that day, and the other line of staying within the controlled setting of making sure that everything is to the standards that you need it to be successful. And that doesn't mean that if your form starts to break down at all, you should just, oh nope, too heavy, cut the weight. I think there's there's also the flip side of that discipline and saying, okay, I'm holding back a little bit because I don't want to lose some of these important technical cues. People just revert to the scared Snap City references where they say, oh, watch out because that's happening and that has to be bad. There's that line, that variance, and there's that kind of that gray zone where you can afford to flirt with a little bit of technique breakdown. Any kind of maximal effort is going to involve some technical breakdown, but you don't want to become patterned and ingrain habits that will encourage you to break that technique in a way that will disqualify the lift from competition. And so you have to just keep those in mind when that's happening, and so you consider your safety and then consider the rules of whatever federation you're lifting in and whatever standards you set for yourself, as well as the ones that you're going to be held to. So it's really important to remember those things. Thank you guys for watching. It was a really long day for me. It's about midnight right now as I'm making this, so I apologize for the late upload, but I started my day at 7:30 and just kind of kept going. So I was drudging through that workout, and as fast as everything may have looked for the squats, they felt about 1,000 times slower, and just made the most of it. So thank you guys for watching. I'll have the next episode of the Q&A video up tomorrow. I apologize for the popping in the first one, that random sound that I don't know what caused it, and I'm trying to figure out what caused it possibly in the second one, see if I can get it out of there. If not, I apologize again. Please just bear with me while I try to figure it out. I'm just as frustrated as you guys are. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye.